Well, let's have a look at what could Team South Africa have done to try and deliver more medals. And let's talk about the support as well. And who better to speak to about this than the University of Pretoria's LJ van Zyl, who talks to us this evening. LJ, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. A former Olympic medalist himself. Talk to us about, in part, what Tatiana Smith points to here, that yes, South Africa may have less resources, but it certainly does appear to punch above its weight in terms of delivering the goods. Could we have done better with financial resources and other ways of supporting these athletes?
Good evening. Yeah, it's a good question, and I think it's a valid point that Tatiana Smith made. So South Africans have no reason to be inferior to countries like the United States or China or Japan, who took the top 3 positions on the medal table now in Paris. I think with limited resources, especially athletics, where our relay team did super well, a silver medal. Joanne van Dijk, who got also a silver medal. She also mentioned she doesn't get any funding from any formal structures from SASCOC, as you mentioned, or Athletics South Africa. And that's sad to hear that because her parents is funding her. She's training in Potch. She's a qualified dietitian, and she also made the point where she is qualified. Now she make a decision. Her peers is starting to earning money. And the limited money she's making, she's spending that money just to survive in the javelin sport. And if you look at the 4x1 relay, only from the 4 athletes, only Akani Simbine is getting formal funding from the support structures. Bradley Ngwana, Sean Masingwane, that training in the US with Carl Lewis, the legend. And the scholar who spoke to us now, Walazwa, they're not in the formal systems. But on a positive note, I've also heard the interview with the current Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, and he made a promise there will be more funding available from now on towards LA 2028, and that's refreshing to hear that.
Yeah.
But then again, we've heard this same tune in 2012 after London, when we also had a disappointing finish. In London, we also got 6 medals, but I was hoping to be in the double digits by now.
Well, you say this, LJ, and I'm tempted to ask the question in this way, because initially I was going to say, where are we lacking in terms of sports development? But I feel I should turn it around and say, who is to blame? Who is to blame for the lack of support of our athletes? Because we are a middle-income country. And what that means is that we have world-class facilities that compete with the best in the world. And so it means that our athletes, if we're serious about supporting them, they should be able to compete, in fact, beat these countries by far.
Yes, I think to plan now only for Los Angeles 2028, 4 years from now, it's actually too late. We need to start at the bottom. We need to improve our grassroots level. We need to improve our talent ID at school level. And the scholars that are going now to the World Junior and Youth later this year, we need to identify them, have a bigger pool of athletes from youth, junior level, and nurture them to senior level. And to only have OPEX 3-leveled funding scheme is not enough. There should be more. You know, it's not money that the athletes can spend. It's money for medical help, physiotherapists, chiros. If you get injured, what now? One of our top athletes, it's one of the athletes I really highlighting for the next Olympics for the medal is Benjamin Richardson. He ran 986 earlier this year, and then 1999 at the same competition. He just missed out on the 100-meter final. He ran 995, I can remember. He was 9th. So he's 20 years old. Invest in him. He's definitely the next Akane Simbine, the next Wade van Niekerk. Tatiana Smith retired now. Akani, in 4 years now, he will be in his middle 30s. So we need to invest in athletes like Bayanda. Well, last one, the 18-year-old Bradley Nkona is also 18, turning 19 this year.
Yeah.
This is the athletes our medals will come from.
Well, is it SASCOC that's to blame for the lack of support? And
I will not say, yeah, I will not say blame. We just need we need more finances. And I've also heard to the minister, he made a promise there will be more financial support through SASCOC, through the federations, have a stronger pool of athletes that benefiting to prepare for LA. Well, as we also mentioned, if it wasn't for the training camp in France a week or two before the Olympics, it was almost impossible for them to medal. Have more training camps. We have world-class facilities. The irony is the European athletes, they come all the way to Stellenbosch and Potch to prepare 3-4 months towards the European season. We have all the facilities. We must just use them and make it available for more athletes, not only for the elites. Invite top school athletes from rural communities to also to compete on our tartan tracks, give them opportunities, give them exposure to relays. We have the facilities. And I've also heard what Tatiana said. She's willing to share her experience with younger athletes to cope with the pressure. How do you go through the rounds at the Olympic Games? That's all small things that only people like Tatiana Smith can teach the younger athletes.
You speak about facilities. Let me prolong it a little bit more. These facilities, you say, athletes would travel, for example, to Stellenbosch let's say 4 months before the actual competition. Take that kind of scenario and say, what if these facilities that exist in Stellenbosch existed in underserved communities, rural communities? Can you imagine the amount of athletes, the amount of talent that we would unearth there? Why are these facilities not existent there?
But here's the issue. You need somebody in a school system, a coach, a club manager that can identify athletes in smaller clubs in that communities, identify them and groom them in the area. And if they perform well, give them an opportunity also to compete in the cities. Us here at the University of Pretoria, we've got a fantastic athletics track. We've got a high-performance center that athletes can use. Make it available for more athletes that they can use.
Yeah. Let's talk about the role that coaches play in developing and nurturing the talent. I listened to some of these athletes saying very good things about their coaches, but the very same coaches are underpaid.
If they ever get paid. I can promise you the majority of our coaches, they're doing because of the love of the sport. They also, all former athletes, they want to give back in the sport. And also contract coaches. We've seen now Paul Goris, our relay coach, he's got a contract with Athletics South Africa, and obviously it worked. He got a relay medal. They got 5th in the 4x4 relay. So it worked. There need to be more formalized contracts in place and then need to be paid. Most of our coaches is doing it, the coaching only for let's call it a hobby and after work. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Now you want to compete like countries in the US, China, Japan, France, where your coach is a full-time coach. And funny enough, one of the best hurdle coaches, Henny Kotze, is coaching in Qatar now for the last 7 years, and he got the medals there. Our top pole vault coach, Jake van Viering, was also in Qatar, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
So and we cannot blame them to take the opportunity to coach in other countries.
Let's talk sponsorship for a moment. There is another bone of contention. You just mentioned one of the athletes who says they are not funded by anyone. She is self-funded. Why is sponsorship so difficult to come by?
Yeah, it is difficult, and it's not everywhere. If you don't have a personal sponsor with a shoe company or a club, it's nearly impossible to make it. You can do it, but then you have to have a daytime job, and after work you need to train. the solution is there need to be the funding. Joanne van Dijk didn't get any funding from the formal structures. And that's sad to see. Even the cross-country cyclist who got a bronze medal, Alan Heiterly, who also no formal funding, he's self-funded. And imagine if we have a bigger pool of athletes that can benefit and just at least pay the equipment and training camps and medical expenses, where we're going to end up on the middle table if we just have that in change. And also our team now, I think it was about 150 in total. If we can increase that, double that, then we have a bigger strike rate to get athletes into the final. And this is how we also get exposure. Our more athletes we see on TV competing, more younger athletes will be interested in the sport.
We have a new minister yes. of sports who comes across as very enthusiastic about yes. his new role. I think just a few days ago, I was watching him telling people how to lose weight. And so he is making yes. this a journey for people to follow him. So this is someone who seems yes. to want to pour his heart into sport. Do you think Definitely. That he can help? Definitely. He can help in galvanizing sponsorship?
For sure. I think the second day after he was appointed in Parliament, he said he's going to run a marathon. And guess what he did the next morning? He took a video of himself starting to train. And I was fortunate enough, I also arrived from Paris this morning with some of the team members. And takeaways from what he said, he's going to have financial support for more athletes. He's going to invest in school sport and community sports, and I like it a lot. 3 weeks ago, he also mentioned he's going to implement and try to implement physical education in schools as a standalone module, not in tie with life orientation. That's awesome. And he also mentioned that that he's going to invest in LA, going to make it a mission to improve our medals. And I love what he said. That's wonderful. And I'm also offering my own advice, experience, and help. But the trick is, it's easy to say it. It's the implementation is where we're falling apart. The last few Olympic cycles, we've had the same conversation after London Olympics 2016, after Rio, Tokyo 2021, 3 years ago. And if you look at the medal table, in Tokyo, at least we improved. We're 44th now in tie with Jamaica and Thailand. In Tokyo, we only got 3 medals. We doubled that, 52nd place. Yeah. In Rio 29, we got 10 medals. Kata Semenya's 2 medals and Wade van Niekerk that helped us a lot. So, but I'm really hoping to see that we end up in the next, the first 20 positions. That's where we should aim for, definitely. With the talent we have here in South Africa, it's amazing.
Well, let me borrow exactly on what you are saying when you start comparing us to other countries. I want to make an example of Australia. Just listen to this for a moment. Yes. They have a population of 27 million people. So that means it's less than half that of South Africa. They returned from Paris with 18 gold medals versus
53
and a total of 53 medals. What is it that they are doing right?
They've got a fantastic sports system going on. They've got leagues. They've also got a facility in Canberra where their training camps is taking place. And what I've seen from the Australians, they like to use old sports person, old Olympians or ex-Olympians coming back and helping the young athletes. For myself, a 400 hurdle Olympian 3 times, it's sad to see only 2 females in the Olympic team in the hurdles, 0 men. I think it's the first time since, I think the last, since 92 and actually before 1960. Sad to see that. But then again, Rugail Joseph, Zanay van der Walt just missed the final. Both of them ran PBs and both almost broke the national record. So on the female side, it's improving. But in LA and actually next year in Tokyo World Championships, we need to get them into the final. And LA also in the final, and they need to run in the top 3 positions. They've got the talent and they've got the coaching. They must just use the opportunity.
Yeah. Final question, LJ. You are a former Olympian, and you've already almost intimated that you are ready and willing to help. Take us through the journey of preparing for a global showpiece like this. How do you prepare as an athlete as you go onto this global stage?
I think for an athlete, it's yes, you have to train hard, but the mental preparation is way more. And also athletes, they need a proper coach. And I'm very fortunate. I'm not coaching, but I'm working for the University of Pretoria. And one of the courses I'm working on is the higher certificate in sports sciences. It's a fully online program where we train coaches how to manage a school club, how to manage athletes preparing for events such as Olympic Games. And we also teach them skills in physical education and school sports coaching. We also give them opportunity to do sports practical at a school or a facility. It's a fully online program.
Yeah.
And this is the way we can improve the system. We spoke about the rural community development, school coaching. And if there's teachers willing to help or start kind of interest in coaching, I would really advise them to do the higher certificate in sports science online. They can take they can get information on www.online.up.ac.za. You'll see the higher certificate. You just click there. It's a carousel module. It's fully online, and this is the way we can make a difference.
LJ van Zyl, I want to thank you very much for your time.